The following scenes or events are taken from the short story The Zombie in Cuenca Street. All credits for the next translation, photos, and audio go to the creators. All characters and events depicted in this clip are entirely fictitious and are made by Nikki Alfar. Any similarity to actual events or persons, living or dead, is purely coincidental. Listener discretion is advised.
Just morning, LA listeners! Sana masarap ang ulam nyo habang nakikinig sa aming istasyon na babagay sa ating makabuluhang usapan ngayong araw. Ngunit bago ang lahat, alam ko namang araw-araw nyo tong inaabangan eh. Halos isabuhay nyo na nga ito. Joke lamang po, no offense sa mga cancer. So eto na, hindi na ako magpapaligoy-ligoy pa. Kasi on the other line is Madam Suhini. Madam, handa na po ba ang ating latest kapalaran ngayong araw para naman alamin masimula na ng ating listeners ang araw nila?
Bueno, disclaimer. You may or you may not believe what I will say. It's all up to you mga anak. Ngayon, 3 zodiac signs lamang ang aking nabasahan. Una, para sa mga Aries. Mukhang swerte ka ngayon. Sa mga Aries dyan na may negosyo, swerte kayo ngayon. Your love focus, keep time aside for things romantic, will help strengthen the loving bonds. Lucky color, light gray. Lucky alphabet, R. Friendly numbers, 211. Mag-ingat sa mga Gemini. Oh, mukhang konektadong itong sunod. Sunod ay para sa mga Gemini. May kapimilya ka bang Aries? Anyway, you'll be able to convince your parents or family members about the thing you have full confidence in. Love focus, your romantic ideas are like to please the lover. Lucky color, dark yellow. Lucky alphabet, S. Friendly numbers, 3, 5, 8. Friendly zodiac sign today, Taurus and Libra. And pag-ingat sa Cancer. Oh, para sa huling zodiac sign, Cancer. In certain aspects, the day will turn out to be a fine one. Good for you. Your love focus, romance will have its ups and downs, but you'll manage to keep it alive. Lucky color, purple. Lucky alphabet, S. Lucky numbers, 11 to 22. Friendly zodiac today, Leo and Aries. And be careful of Aries. Maraming salamat!
Ayan, maraming salamat Madam Suhini. So, pabasa naman po sa mga Sagittarius and Capricorn next time. Ayan, hindi pa nga pala kami nagpapakilala. Kumusta kayo mga LA listeners? This is Brittney speaking.
Hola, LA listeners! Soy Hannah.
Annyeonghaseyo, Emie.
Pakatutukan ng aming istasyon dahil isa na namang kwento ang ating i-analisa. Ihanda nyo ang inyong mga sarili, lalong-lalo na ang mga matatakutin sapagkat medyo nakakakilabot at nakakatindig balahibo ito.
Salamat sa paalala, Hannah. Ito ay ang kwentong pinamagatang The Zombie on Cuenca Street. Binasa na namin ito noong isang episode at ginawan pa nga ng adaptation. Umiikot ang akdang ito sa babaeng si Ayen. May natagpuan siyang zombie sa kanilang ditch. O diba, sosyal, may ditch sila sa bahay. Anyway, dahil sa pagkatuklas niya na mayroong zombie rito, nanumbalik niya naman sa kanya ang mga memories with her ex-husband na si Rico at naungkat ang mga problema niya sa buhay. And ang dami talagang areas to ponder on dito. Nariyan pa yung sinagawan niyang officer, tapos si Marga, and her parents too. Hindi lang ito tungkol sa zombie ha. Tutuklasin din natin kung ano ang meaning ng kwentong ito through different literary lenses.
Yes naman, I agree. Ito'y talagang kapupulutan ng aral. So, guys, if you missed our first episode, The Zombie on Cuenca Street, we have our live sessions on our Facebook page or visit our radio station's website.
Now, about the author, have you guys heard about Nikki Alfar? I swear if you're a fan of powerful women writers, you'll absolutely adore her. Aside from the story of the zombie on the Cuenca Street, she had her first collection of short stories entitled Now, Then, and Elsewhen na na-publish nung taong 2012. Isn't it amazing?
Yes, of course. It is amazing. Talk about a promising writer, Hannah. Not only that, fun fact about her, did you guys know that she can barely sustain coherent thought, much less write without nicotine? Despite being handicapped, I absolutely believe in her because she still managed to earn various awards. Iisa-isahin ko kasi I know this is a great achievement for her. So she earned 3 Don Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards for Literature, a Manila Critics Circle National Book Award, a Bewildering Stories Mariner Award, and a selection as one of 12 Filipino writers on note by Ateneo Library Women's Writing lang naman. So if you want to know more about Miss Nikki Alfar, basahin niyo ang short stories niya. Then you'll find out the reasons why she won these awards.
Kaya naman, sit back, relax, and enjoy another LA session.
Nakakakilabot and nakaka-curious talaga itong zombie on Cuenca Street. Goosebumps mula sa scalp hanggang soul. Tagus talaga ang story sa aking soul.
Yes, and to further know more about this text, we look at it through diverse lenses. We will evaluate the text using not just one, not two, but three literary theories.
Shala, parang premium lang sa Spotify. Kaya naman, we go on another LA session. Time check, it is 8:05 in the morning. The time is brought to you by Mink PH. All for women's empowerment, all for you.
So, if you are a Suki sa aming talk show, LA or literary analysis is a way of studying and examining a certain work or text. We dive into the composition to investigate how characters, events, and dialogues connect to certain context or values.
For that matter, we invited experts to help us discuss the background and unlock the meaning of the chosen text. Without further ado, please welcome our guests.
Miss Meca Mendoza is a literature professor from Ateneo de Naga University. She is also a full-fledged feminist. Hi, Miss Meca!
Hello, I'm so glad to be here.
Our next guest is a popular 21st century writer. He is also a fan of the zombie on Cuenca Street. Please welcome Mr. Antonio Obias.
Good day to all of you. Thank you for having me.
At syempre, last but not the least, we have a Manila-based literary critic and expert of Filipino culture. Give it up for Mr. Orlando Todas.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat.
Yes, bongga talaga ang ating mga guests for today. Alan DeGeneres ang peg. So ngayon na kompleto na tayo, we will be covering the feminist, Marxist, and post-colonial analysis of the text. For each theory, we will have a question and answer portions to be answered by our guests. So, excited na ba kayo?
And now we begin with the hot questions. Let's go, Tito Boy!
For our first round, we will have the feminist literary theory. So, Miss Meca, in a nutshell, what is the theory all about?
Well, the feminist literary theory is a type of analysis that aims to see how genders, especially women, are represented in literature. It also looks at the conflicts and the background of the characters while relating it to women empowerment, gender equality, and even patriarchy. So although more on female siya, extended ang scope niya to liberate all genders from the oppressive system through literature.
Aha, hindi lang pala girl power but for everyone. Maganda talaga na matanggal na ang toxic patriarchal system na ito. And we can start by focusing on empowering all genders equally. Evident kasi talaga ang injustice na present when it comes to gender. So, Miss Meca, how are gender relationships portrayed in the text?
Based on how Ayan and Rico act as spouses, we can automatically understand that we have gender roles present, diba? The man is working while the woman stays at home serving her husband. It is mentioned that because the man has a higher paying job, the woman is then cornered to just rely on her husband. Sinabi pa nga dito sa line, she will not make as much as Rico makes. Ayan is an internationally certified progressive education specialist, in fact. But just because women are dictated to do chores and pamper their husbands, Ayan seems to give up her job and leave the work to Rico.
Grabe, gender roles are still present pa rin. So aside from forcing Ayan to stay at home, let's focus on women naman po. How are the female characters depicted?
Well, we have Ayan. She seems to be hysterical, emotional, and high-strung kasi heartbroken siya, diba? So she shouts at the officer, she paces the floor, etc. Then we have the mother, another stereotype of a woman. She prays the novena, wants Ayan to have children, and is even traumatic. She's a conventional mother. Sabi pa nga ni Ayan, she's in a frenzy of maternal panic. This represents how people associate panic with women. Lastly, we have Marga, who's a chismosa or a high-class marites. We can infer how females are labeled as gossipers or mean girls. Overall, we see a lot of traits, mostly negative, attributed to our female characters.
True. It's sad how women are portrayed as weak, crazy, and OA in common literature. But may good side naman ng women. How is a woman's creativity, independence, or courage manifested in the text?
It may be true that womanhood in a text is reflected by many bad traits, but we should appreciate how Ayan handles the situation. It's true she panics and gets irritated somehow, but she manages to go through her problem. She gets a zombie picked up, which is her goal naman, diba? And nung patapos ng story, tinawagan niya si Rico, right? It's amazing na kahit she's hurt, she's brave enough to ask Rico why they separated and even composed herself after that. She said this to Rico, "You heard me, just answer the question." She may sound demanding, but we have to acknowledge how fierce she is. Kasi kahit alam niya na masasaktan siya sa sagot, she asks for an explanation kasi she deserves it. That's how bold a woman is.
Wow! That's really nice! Sabi nga ni Piolo Pascual, I deserve an explanation. I deserve an acceptable reason. Power talaga ang mga babae. So, thank you for that wonderful answer, Miss Meca.
Before we proceed to the second round, we have breaking news. The Department of Health reports 6,100 new COVID-19 cases, now totaling to more than 9,000 active patients in the country. On a global scale, there are around 3.6 million people who are infected with the disease. Internationally, there are nearly 250,000 deaths and over 1.1 million recoveries. Authorities are continuously reminding everyone to practice safety measures. Stay safe and stay alert. That's it for hottest news in the Corona updates. Back to the program.
And welcome back mga kachika! Bumabalik muli tayo para sa ating second round. So dito we're going to tackle the Marxist literary theory. So a quick background check lang tuloy kung anong merong kinabubuluhan dito. So this theory provides a Marxist perspective on reading a literary text, which means that it dives into the expression of economic class struggle. Basically, we're going to have to deal with different hierarchical classes and how the existence of such classes have affected the character's behavior within the text.
Yes naman! Ang exciting na magiging round na ito, lalong-lalo na pagkakaroon tayo ng deep insights towards poverty and the rich, for which has always been a timely theme.
Alright, now that is all out of the way, let us continue with the second round. This question is for you, Mr. Antonio. What were the social classes implicated within the story?
Ako kasi, I believe that the most dominant social class that can be recognized was the proletariat, or in particular, a middle-class proletariat to the bourgeoisie. Even if the story did not actually tell their class belongings, it is evident through the elements like the environment and their ideologies. And they are not considered as the marginalized sector to the proletariat kasi since they are able to sustain their basic needs and even wants.
Wow! Napakabonggang sagot naman yun, sis. Parang Miss Universe, kumbaga. Charot lang. Anyways, would you like to elaborate more pa ba? Wow, kung maka-request, sasagot na yun ah.
Sure, I would love to. Pero diba, we can see how the story represents not only the literal manifestation of the working class, pero also, pati na rin yung symbolisms that have a connotation attached to them. For instance, the zombie may be subject in the story which give Ayan a conflict, but it can also represent deeper and significant negative emotion that are felt particularly by the proletariats.
Grabe talaga mga be, ang insights nito ni Antonio. Mukhang dizizit na mga sis.
Kalmahan! Kalma lang ha, na di pa tayo tapos kasi meron pa tayong final round ha. This time, iba naman ang patutunguhan natin. This will be the post-colonial literary theory. So for this one, I will be asking Orlando. Orlando, what is this theory exactly?
Well, I believe that this theory tackles a form of thought applied in critical writing that emphasizes on the ongoing effect of colonization across colonized regions or countries. This also has something to do with the postmodern discrimination influenced by dominating race.
Ano Looks like someone really studied. Sige, I will be taking the cake for the second questions, mga be. Continuing with you, Orlando, you mentioned that race is addressed within the standards of this theory. With that said, what do you think was the group or persons the text identified as other or stranger? How were they described and treated?
In my opinion, the particular group was the homosexual group that the text identifies that society treats as a stranger, even though they are widely regarded on how a community that should be treated with equal rights, prejudice, and discrimination upon them are still rampant as it evident within the text. Gays have a hard time coming out as themselves as society has meddled with the idea that their existence is a sin. Rico was treated with an unacceptance among his peers, ranging from his wife to the parents of his wife. Overall, his character served as the oppressed group or the other, for which it can be said to be the LGBT community.
Grabe! The text really contained a lot of heavy themes now that our guests have expressed their answers. Each of them were really insightful and very deep that we never ought to dig up much from what was shown in the story. It was a fruitful learning experience that we got to talk with our guests today talaga.
Aw, it's sad that we are so close to end this program. Ang dami pa sana nating pag-uusapan, lalo na't may cliffhanger sa ending. Pero sana marami tayong nahinuhang puntos to reflect on.
OMG! Ako talaga, Britt. Masyado talaga ako naging invested sa kwento. To be honest, as a reader, na-witness ko how Ayan goes through her problems. And after meeting with our guests, na-unveil ang iba pang social-cultural issues regarding the story.
Pero alam kong sa kabila ng lahat, anumang estado nating sa buhay, iisa't iisa lang naman ang ating pinagmulan. Di ba't sa ating mga ina? Tao rin lang naman tayo, pare-pareho, mababaw na dahilan. But it does make sense naman, di ba? Kaya alam kong pagdating ng panahon, si Ayan ka man, si Rico, si Norman, o si Mrs. Marga. Sa sarili mong kwento, lahat din ay magbabago para sa mabuti at may isa sa isip ng bawat isa sa atin sa mata ng feminist, Marxist at post-colonial literary theory na hindi maulit kung ano man ang mga masasamang naganap hanggang ngayon sa hinaharap.
At dyan nagtatapos ang ating makabuluhan na namang kwentuhan ngayong araw.
Maraming salamat po sa pakikinig. See you on our next episode. Paalam!